The indie author revolution has been around for more than a decade, but we indies continue to push the boundaries of what we're capable of. From getting over initial prejudices to staring down perfectionism and author imposter syndrome, we've become a force to reckon with. Indie authors now wear more hats than ever as we strive to create a career full of meaning, prosperity, and potential. We've juggled the demands and continue to be rebels in the face of adversity. Now, after years of hearing the shouts of hustle and grind, we indies are rebelling again. Gone are the days of publishing a book a month until we drop, and in its place are the seeds of a better way to rapid release. A way that feels incredible as we build a sustainable, lifelong author career that not only increases our visibility and royalties, but it's all done with intention and ease. If you're ready to buck the system and become the visionary authorpreneur I know you're meant to be, you've come to the right place. I'm Carissa Andrews, international best-selling indie author, and this is the Author Revolution podcast. Well, hey there, my writerly friend. It's so great that you're here again. So this week, I gotta tell you, I have been doing a lot of internal work and thinking a lot about the future of indie authorhood, what it means for me, what it means for the industry in general, and ultimately what it means for new authors who are coming on the scene. You know, when I first started, it was a decade ago, and, being new into this whole indie author circuit, it was like this magical new frontier as we were all kind of, testing out the waters and trying to figure out what it was that we wanted this whole system to look like. And as time has gone on, I can tell you that it seems like more and more of the, I don't know if patriarchal is the right way to put it. It's like the older energy, the older business setups. They've all kind of incorporated themselves into our indie author world. And it's made a lot of us, I think, feel like we aren't good enough, like we're not capable enough of making our author career be the thing that fits us or suits us. Because if you're a pantser, you hear that plotting's the way to go. And if you're a plotter, you hear that maybe there's a different way to do it. Or if you don't have the money to hire an editor just yet, you feel like you can't actually self-edit. There's all these weird gatekeepers, even though there are no gatekeepers. And it's one of those mindset shifts that has been really kind of fluctuating in the background of my own mind as I teach you how to become and embrace indie authorship. And one of the, tenets that I want you to know when it comes to becoming that person you really are, the author you want to become, you know what? You can be a hot mess. I've said this before in my webinars and in things that I'm teaching in person. Being a hot mess and still being a prolific author can go hand in hand. You do not have to be all put together. You do not have to have all areas of your author life put together. You don't even have to know whether or not you're going to be publishing a book this year to have a very successful indie author career. I think one of the biggest mindset shifts that I've had probably in the past 2 months is ultimately we are the masters of our own reality. We can decide. We get to choose what comes in and how we're going to go forward with our author career. And that's a huge shift for me because in the beginning, I was really taking a lot of advice from other people and I was really trying to find out what is the right way. And I want you to hear this from me because as someone who's an avid learner, I love to learn things. I am now finding that I have to start learning to trust my own self. I have to trust that I've learned enough to make things work properly. I have to trust myself to know how to move forward confidently. I don't need to have all these extra things sometimes. And maybe you've reached that decision as well. Maybe you've been out there in the world and you've been learning from all the gurus, or maybe you're just starting. But I want you to know, even coming from me, even someone who has courses, who teaches people how to do things a certain way, this is coming from a place of trying to extrapolate all the information, all the data that's come out in the past 10 years and make it as easy as possible. And whether you want to learn from me or whether you want to learn from someone else, in the long run, it doesn't matter as long as you're trusting your own instincts and you're being guided to the right people that fit you, who resonate with you, and who really make you feel like you are crafting the career that you want to craft. Oh, I'll tell you, over the years, I was in awe of Michael Ondelay and Craig Martell and the way that they set up the 20 Books group and understanding how rapid release worked in the very beginning. We're talking like 2015, 2014, somewhere in there, whenever they started. It was very early on. I think there was like 900 people in that group when I joined. And I remember being in awe of how these people are able to write and publish as quickly as they were. And I thought it was the most amazing thing. And I've always been drawn to not having to sit and dwell on decisions. I'm a quick thinker, I'm a quick study, and I'm a quick decision maker. But I also have seen over the years of trying to implement that kind of strategy that it leads to burnout. It leads to creativity wells drying up, and it leads to a disconnect sometimes of being able to be the person you really want to be, of being able to connect to, how you want your career to go, because you're not listening necessarily to what feels right to you. You're just trying to do the thing that you've been told to do. So here's what I want you to do. If you're a hot mess, if you're identifying with being a hot mess in this whole indie author game, I want you to know that that's maybe not a bad thing. In fact, I would probably wager that being a hot mess means that you have a certain way about you. You have certain things that feel good to you and those that don't. And so when you're a hot mess, it means you're going against something that no longer feels right to you. And I want you to take a moment when that happens to become more aware of it, to perk your ears up or perk your mental mindset up, and to think about, okay, why is this not working for me? Why is this thing that everybody else is touting as the best thing ever? Why is that not working for me? Because each of us are going to have our own ways of doing things. Each of us are going to have our own ways of connecting with our readers, of resonating to our readers. And when we get stuck in this concept of having to always do things the way that they've always been done, that's where a problem starts to arise, because we're not following our own intuition. We're not following the guidance that internally, I think we always know best. We always know best, right? We know what we're supposed to be doing. It's just that we want validation, external validation that tells us we're doing things right. Well, if you need external validation, here it is. You are doing it right. Whatever it looks like for you, however your indie author career is unfolding, you are in the exact right place in the exact right moment. Stop worrying so much about the future. Stop worrying so much about those book launches. I know it's stressful. I know you want them to go well. But when they're out of your control, let them go. Surrender them to the universe and let you and all you've done be enough. Let it be enough, okay? So here's what I want you to do in addition to that. Whenever you feel like you're a hot mess, I want you to celebrate. Celebrate that you are not a puppet. You are not a sheeple. You are someone who is doing something unique and different and vibrant, and I guess embracing who you are in the way that you're doing it, because that takes courage. It takes courage. It might feel like laziness, guys. I get it. But it takes courage to know that your way is the right way for you. It takes courage to know when to back off. It takes courage to know when to persevere. And I want you to know that whatever guidance you get around being an indie author, listen to the parts that resonate. Listen to the parts where it feels like that light bulb moment goes off and you go, yes, that is truth. There is truth in everything that was just said or everything that was just done there, because those are the moments that are going to guide you toward the author career you really want to have. I think a lot of us we start off with this golden idea of, we just want this book to come out. We just want to create this really cool experience, whether it's for ourselves or whether it's for ourselves and readers. Sometimes it's just for us in the beginning, and I get it. That's how I started. But you need to know how to then embrace that fully as you're moving forward. You don't have to let that visionary moment go. You don't have to let that childlike curiosity go just because now you want a career out of this. Maybe your indie author career is only meant to be your creative outlet. Maybe it's not meant to be the thing that brings you muku bucks, right? Maybe it's the thing that brings you recognition. Maybe it's the thing that brings you joy. Maybe it's the thing that makes you feel grounded and appreciated and supported in this world. But I feel like sometimes we put a lot of energy and effort and hopes and dreams and fears into what it is we expect our author careers to look like. And we think because we are not acting a certain way, or our books are not acting a certain way, or our royalties aren't coming in a certain way, that we must be doing something wrong, and then we give up. Well, what if we just revolutionized it a bit? What if we just embraced being indie authors and loving the process? What if we just embraced it and got rid of all the stuff that we really don't care to do and just focused on the fun stuff that we love? What if, rather than posting to every social media platform known to man, what if we just embraced the concept or the idea that we'll show up when and how we feel? We will be there to be the people that our readers need to see. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just in a contemplative moment here this September. It's my time of the year, and I take a look around outside. And I look at the way the leaves are falling, the way the sun kind of flitters through the leaves. It just makes me feel like home. And as I watch the leaves start falling, it's like surrendering. That's how it feels. It's like a time of surrender. It's a time to let go of all the things that we have put together, all the things that our hopes, expectations, our ideas, and we let them go so that they can come to pass in however they're meant to. Maybe I'm weird. Maybe I'm in a weird contemplative state, but that's how I'm feeling. I feel like more of us indie authors need to focus less, I guess, on the goal, the end goal, what we expect the goal to be, and enjoy the ride a little bit more. Enjoy the journey of not only writing, but publishing, of where we are. Do you ever feel like you don't focus enough on that? I don't. I publish the thing and I move on to the next thing. And I realize now that I'm losing a lot of the joy that I could be having if I just slowed down a little bit and allowed myself to be a little bit of a hot mess. I don't have to be constantly working on something. I can kind of chill out in the morning and just read a book and go for a walk and enjoy that and be okay with that. Or I can write on a Saturday, even though it's my day off, or whatever it might look like. I can be a hot mess when I take a video for you guys. I can be a hot mess when I am doing an author talk in the middle of town. I can just be who I am and show up as I am and hope that you guys will understand what's coming out of me and why it's coming out. I really feel like there's a shift in the indie author community right now, and I feel like a change is in the wind. And not just because I want there to be one, because I am a change maker. I love change and I love transformation, but I do feel like we have reached a point in our indie authorhood that we've built this thing that isn't really sustainable, and we need to come back to that. We need to come back to a way to create a career that works for us, that works for the way our lifestyle should be, the way that it works for balance and creativity. Because right now, sometimes we get a little bit lost in the woods, don't we? Maybe you do. Maybe I do. I know I do. All right. So I guess what I'm trying to say this week for this podcast, if you feel like all the stuff that's been out there, all the things that have been said about how to have an author career, how to be successful as an author, how to do everything as an author, if it's not resonating with you, or if it's just not jiving quite yet, or if it feels like it's unattainable to you, just know that you don't have to take any of it. You can pick and choose your battles. You can pick and choose the aspects you want to incorporate into your author career. You are the one that is in control of the experience that you get to have. Choose wisely. Choose what you want your future to look like, because we want to set things up starting the way we mean to go on. We are creatives. We are people who can literally look out into the universe and write words down and write stories down and worlds down that never existed before we spoke them or we wrote them down. That's powerful stuff. That's magic. And we have to realize that magic sometimes, as energetic as it is, as creative as it is, it needs to regenerate. It needs time to regenerate. And so we have to make sure that we are doing that in our own way. I really think that there's a lot to be said about how we as creatives are all different, how we get our creative ideas differently, how we generate that stuff in ways that are just incredible and profound and miraculous, because we're not all the same. We don't all write the same. We don't all plot the same or plan the same or publish the same, but we are all conduits for creativity. Whether you're a hot mess, whether you're an A-type personality, whether you like to plan or you like to plot or you like to pants, all of those things are all part of your process. So you are in exactly the right place. And I want you to know that your author career, the dream author career, needs to be set by you. Not me, not another author coach, not anybody else. You need to sit down and decide, what does being successful look like for you? And it doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be lots of books sold. It doesn't even have to be writing 4 books a year. It can just literally be enjoying the process. All right, my friend, this is just food for thought for this week. I feel like I'm kind of on my soapbox this week, but I want you to know it's important. Our creativity and who we are and what we do is important. It brings light to the world, and it makes us incredibly powerful people, not just for ourselves or our families and friends, but for the community as a whole. We need more creativity in the world. We need more people like you who have a creative mind and vision, who can see the world just a little bit differently. Maybe you can even make it just a little bit better. All right, guys. Well, that's all I have for you this week. If you would like to download the show notes, make sure you head over to authorrevolution.org/98. In the meantime, I want you to have a wildly wonderful creative week, and then go forth to start your author revolution.